Today we will discuss trigeminal nerve, fifth cranial nerve. Okay. So see here the attachment of different cranial nerves over the base of the brain. See, this is olfactory nerve, first cranial nerve. This one is optic nerve forming optic chiasma, second cranial nerve. Here is the oculomotor. Okay, third cranial nerve. This is fourth trochlear nerve. Here is the fifth cranial nerve. This is trigeminal nerve. Okay, it has two roots, sensory and motor roots. After that, from the pontomedullary junction, sixth abducens, seventh facial, vestibulocochlear, eighth. Here is the 9th, 10th, 11th, lateral to the olive, and 12th in between the pyramid and olive. Okay, so these are the attachment of 12 cranial nerve over the base of the brain. So we will discuss this fifth nerve which is coming out from the pons. Next. So we are classifying the cranial nerves according to their actions. So sensory cranial nerve, motor cranial nerve and mixed cranial nerve. Sensory nerve has only afferent fibers. These are the nerves olfactory, optic, vestibulocochlear. And motor cranial nerves have only efferent fibers. Oculomotor, trochlear, abducent, accessory, spinal accessory or 11th cranial nerve and hypoglossal nerve. And mixed cranial nerve rest, trigeminal nerve, facial nerve, glossopharyngeal and vagus. These are mixed nerve. This chart is very important for your vivas, MCQs like this. Okay. Next. So these are the cranial nerves and coming out from these parts. First and second coming out from forebrain, third and fourth from the midbrain, and this 5, 6, 7, 8 from the pons, some in the pontomedullary junction. Mainly 5 is from pons and rest 3 from pontomedullary junction. And this from the medulla. You have seen in the previous pictures 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. Next. So this is how the nerves are developing. So embryology, during the development of the embryo, the pharyngeal arches appear here near the neck region. There are 6 arches developed, fifth one disappears immediately. Okay. During the development of embryo, the pharyngeal arches appear in the 4th and 5th week of intrauterine life. And it gives rise to 6 pharyngeal arches, of which 5th arch disappears. Okay. And there are scheduled nerves for each arches. From these arches the nerves are developing. Next. So see here, these are the arches, cut section of the arches. Each of the arches have these following components. Each arch is characterized by muscular component, nerve component, arterial component, skeletal component. Okay, so the nerve of this component will supply the muscles developing from the same arch, and also the artery will supply the nerve and the muscles developing from the same arch. And also there are skeletal component, that means bones, ligaments, they are also developing from the arches. And the trigeminal nerve is derived from first pharyngeal arch. This you remember. Okay. Next, so musculature of first pharyngeal arch is these muscles, so they will be supplied by the trigeminal nerve from its different branches. First are the muscle of mastications, temporalis, masseter and 2 pterygoids, medial and lateral pterygoids, anterior belly of digastric, mylohyoid, tensor tympani and tensor valli palatini. So the nerve supply to these muscles is provided by mandibular division of the trigeminal nerve. 3 divisions of trigeminal nerve is there: ophthalmic, maxillary and mandibular. Okay. Next. So these are the supply of these 3 divisions. Forehead region, bridge of the nose, upper eyelid, up to this region it is supplied by the ophthalmic division, this yellow colored portion. Next, up to the angle of the mouth, this red colored one, this is supplied by the maxillary division. And this below it, this part up to the base of the mandible, This is supplied by the mandibular division of the trigeminal nerve. So mesenchyme from the first arch also contributes to the dermis of the face. Hence the sensory supply of the skin of the face is provided by ophthalmic, maxillary and mandibular branches of the trigeminal nerve. Okay, so this diagram is very important. This you practice. It comes in your theory. Okay, next. Okay, next we will discuss the nuclei of the trigeminal nerve. Next. So it has got 4 nuclei. These 3 nuclei are sensory nuclei. Here are 1 motor nuclei. Sensory nuclei are main sensory nuclei, spinal nuclei and mesencephalic nuclei. Okay, mesencephalic we have seen previously, it was relay station for proprioception. Next, so mesencephalic nucleus is located in the midbrain. Main sensory nucleus is situated in the upper pons and spinal nucleus in the upper pons up to the C2 segment of the spinal cord, and motor nucleus is situated in the upper pons. So these are the location of these 4 nuclei. See here, from the nuclei the nerves are coming out and you can see from the motor nucleus the fibers are joining only with the mandibular nerve. So motor fibers are passing through the mandibular nerve, are supplying all those muscles we have discussed, and these are mainly sensory fibers are there. Ophthalmic division, maxillary division. Ophthalmic division passing through superior orbital fissure, maxillary division passing through foramen rotundum, and mandibular division passing through foramen oval. Okay, understood? This fissure through which it is passing, these are important for your viva table. Next. So first we go to the sensory nuclei. 3 sensory nuclei are there. First is mesencephalic nuclei, situated in the midbrain. See, this is the nuclear complex. So first here is the mesencephalic nuclei. This is main sensory nuclei. This is spinal nucleus of the trigeminal nerve. Okay, and also the motor nucleus will be located in the upper pons. So mesencephalic nucleus is situated in the midbrain here, this one, midbrain, pons and medulla. So this mesencephalic nucleus located in the midbrain. You remember, first order sensory nucleus, cell bodies are of pseudo-unipolar type and receives general somatic afferent fibers, and they relay proprioception and supplies the muscles of mastication, facial muscles and eye extraocular muscles. We have seen previously extraocular muscles. Proprioception was relaying in this mesencephalic nucleus. Next we go to primary or superior sensory nucleus. It is situated in the upper part of the pons lateral to the motor nucleus, and it receives the general somatic afferent fibers and relays the impulses of touch and pressure from the skin and mucous membrane of the facial region. So these are the sensation carried by this nucleus. কি কথা বলছিস তোরা ফার্স্ট বেঞ্চে দুজন? চুপচাপ বসে শুনবি, কন্টিনিউয়াস কথা বলে যাচ্ছে। Next is the spinal nucleus. Spinal nucleus of trigeminal nerve. It extends from the caudal end of principal sensory nucleus. This is the principal sensory nucleus. From its caudal end, it is starting spinal nucleus of trigeminal nerve. Caudal end of principal sensory nucleus in the pons to the second and third spinal segment, where it continues with the substantia gelatinosa. Okay, it is divided into these 3 parts, not much important: subnucleus oralis, subnucleus interpolaris, subnucleus caudalis, and it receives the general somatic afferent fibers that relays the impulses of pain and temperature of the face. That is important, which sensation it carries. So pain and temperature it relays in this main sensory spinal nucleus. Next we go to the motor nucleus. It is situated in the Upper pons medial to the principal sensory nucleus, and it contains the efferent fibers. It innervates the muscles of mastication, tensor tympani and tensor valli palatari, and responsible for movement of the mandible during mastication and others. So see here, this is the location of motor nucleus of the trigeminal nerve, and it is joining the mandibular division. Next we go to the trigeminal ganglion. So we have completed discussion of the nuclei. Different parts of the trigeminal nerve comes in your theory. Okay, nucleus, describe the nucleus or describe the ganglion or describe the three divisions and their supply, like this comes in your theory. And trigeminal neuralgia, this is the clinical aspect of trigeminal nerve, very frequently given in your theory question. Okay, theory long question, part of the long question. So trigeminal ganglion, also known as Gasserian ganglion or semilunar ganglion. It occupies a cavity, that is Meckel's cave, in the dura mater that contains the trigeminal impression near the apex of the petrous part of temporal bone. Okay, so this is the location of the trigeminal ganglion. It is somewhat crescentic or semilunar in shape. See, this is trigeminal ganglion. From here there are three nerves are dividing: ophthalmic, maxillary and mandibular. Okay, so it is somewhat crescentic or semilunar in shape, with its convexity is directed anteromedially, and the three divisions of trigeminal nerve emerges from this convexity, and neurons are of pseudo-unipolar type. Next, associated roots and branches. See, this one is the trigeminal ganglion. Those roots, sensory roots and motor roots are laying here. After that, it is dividing into three branches: ophthalmic, maxillary, mandibular. Ophthalmic is again dividing into these three branches: LFT, okay, lacrimal, frontal and nasociliary. And this is the maxillary division. It is giving the pterygopalatine branch, forming the zygomatic branch, infraorbital branch, like this. And here is the mandibular division come out through the foramen rotundum. Okay, so the associated roots and branches, the central processes of the ganglion cells, they forms the large sensory root of the trigeminal nerve, and which is attached to the pons at its junction with the middle cerebellar peduncle. So coming out from the pons, that part is. Next, the small motor root of the trigeminal nerve is attached to the pons superomedial to the sensory root. This relation is important. So motor root is superomedial to the sensory root, and it passes under the ganglion from its medial to the lateral side and joins the mandibular nerve at the foramen oval. Okay, so mandibular nerve coming out through foramen oval here, mandibular division. Next, these are the relations of this trigeminal nerve, its different divisions. So internal carotid artery, you have seen the ophthalmic and maxillary division lying in the lateral wall of the cavernous sinus. Okay, so it will be related to the third, fourth cranial nerve, internal carotid artery, which are content of the cavernous sinus. All those will be closely related to these nerves. So relations: medially internal carotid artery and the posterior part of the cavernous sinus. Laterally there is middle meningeal artery, superiorly parahippocampal gyrus seen in the base of the brain, and inferiorly there will be motor root of trigeminal nerve, greater petrosal nerve, apex of the petrous part of temporal bone and foramen lacerum. So all these is the relations. Next we go to arterial supply. Ganglion branches of internal carotid artery, middle meningeal artery and accessory meningeal artery, this supply the trigeminal ganglion. Okay. Next we go to the parasympathetic ganglion related to this nerve. This comes in your theory. And it's name these ganglions, parasympathetic ganglions associated with these nerves, and their detailed discussion. Their sensory fibers, motor fibers, supplying area, all those is asked. These ganglions are important, okay? So the sensory fibers during this course rely on four parasympathetic ganglions. They are ciliary ganglion, pterygopalatine ganglion, otic ganglion and submandibular ganglion. See here, this one is ciliary ganglion, lies near the orbit. This is pterygopalatine ganglion, lies in the pterygopalatine fossa, you have seen. Next is, here is the otic ganglion, lies near the ear, okay. And here is the submandibular ganglion. So these are the four parasympathetic ganglion where the fibers are relaying. And these are secretomotor in nature. Next. Okay, so this is the location of the ganglion and dividing into three branches. And these three branches, ophthalmic, maxillary and mandibuli, also you can write like this, V1, V2 and V3. This is also used, this nomenclature. Next. So trigeminal nerve is the fifth cranial nerve, largest cranial nerve, longest being the vagus. It is the largest, okay. Also known as nerves trigeminalis or trifacial nerve, other name of the, and first described by Gabriel Fallopius and then later by the Johann Friedrich Meckel in this. And the term trigeminal nerve was proposed by Jacob Benignus Winslow. This is the history of the trigeminal nerve. Next. It is mixed nerve composed of a small motor root and considerably large sensory root. And the sensory root contains about this number of fibers, okay. 1,70,000 fibers and motor root contains about 7,700 fibers. So motor root is smaller, you remember this. Next. These are the three divisions, ophthalmic, maxillary, mandibular. These two are sensory, mandibular is mixed. Next. So we will discuss individual divisions now. Okay. First, the ophthalmic division. Ophthalmic division is superior and smallest division, wholly sensory. Okay. And arises from the anteromedial end of the trigeminal ganglion as a flat band, 2.5 centimeter long, passes forward in the lateral wall of the cavernous sinus below the oculomotor and trochlear nerve. Here it is passing ophthalmic division, entering into the orbit through the superior orbital fissure. Next, nerve is joined by filaments from the internal carotid sympathetic plexus, communicates with the oculomotor trochlear abducent nerve, and the abducent communication may be the route by which proprioceptive fibers from extraocular muscle enter the trigeminal nuclear complex. Okay, mesencephalic nucleus is the relay station. Next. Before or just after entering the orbit through the superior orbital fissure, it divides into these three divisions: lacrimal, nasociliary and frontal. Okay, see here, this one is lacrimal, this is frontal, and here is the nasociliary going. Lacrimal is going to supply the lacrimal gland. Frontal is dividing into two branches, supraorbital and supratrochlear, and nasociliary, it is other different branches we will discuss. So lacrimal is the smallest, okay. Nasociliary or intermediate, it is dividing into two branches, internal nasal, external nasal. External nasal is again divided into three branches, long ciliary, infratrochlear, posterior ethmoidal. And this frontal is the largest branch, is dividing into supratrochlear and supraorbital. Here you can see the supratrochlear and supraorbital nerve. Next. So lacrimal nerve, smallest of the main ophthalmic branches, enters the orbit through the lateral part of superior orbital fissure, runs along the upper border of rectus lateralis with the lacrimal artery, receives a tweak from the zygomaticotemporal branch of maxillary nerve, which contains lacrimal secretomotor fibers. Here, this is lacrimal nerve going to supply this lacrimal gland of the orbit. Okay, this is frontal nerve. dividing into two branches, supraorbital, supratrochlear, and this one is nasociliary, again dividing into multiple branches. Next, see here, nasociliary, this one is lacrimal and this one is frontal, three divisions of the ophthalmic nerve. So it supplies the lacrimal gland and the adjoining conjunctiva, pierces the orbital septum, ends in the upper eyelid where it joins the filaments of the facial nerve. Okay. Next, frontal. Next we go to frontal nerve. It is the largest branch of ophthalmic division, enters the orbit through the lateral part of the superior orbital fissure. And see here, these are the location of supraorbital nerve and supratrochlear. Supratrochlear is medial to the supraorbital nerve and passes through the supraorbital foramen at the upper margin of the orbit. So it runs above the levator palpebris superioris, divides into these two branches. Supratrochlear is smaller, supraorbital is larger. Okay. Next, supratrochlear branch supplies the, supratrochlear is medial one, this one supplies the conjunctiva, skin of upper eyelid, skin of lower forehead and near the midline. Next we go to the supraorbital branch. It traverses the supraorbital foramen at the upper margin of the orbit and it supplies the frontal ear sinus, upper eyelid, forehead and scalp till the vertex. So this is supraorbital branch and it is supplying area. Okay. Next we go to nasociliary branch. So lacrimal, frontal we have discussed. Next, nasociliary. It is intermediate in size between the frontal and lacrimal, deeply placed in the orbit. Enters the orbit through the lateral part of superior orbital fissure and lie between the two rami of oculomotor nerve. Here, from the middle portion, nasociliary is passing in between the two divisions of the oculomotor nerve. Runs on the medial wall of the orbit between the superior oblique and medial rectus muscle. Next, these are the branches of the nasociliary nerve. Anterior ethmoidal, it is supplying the middle and anterior ethmoidal sinus, medial internal nasal and lateral internal nasal nerves. Next, posterior ethmoidal, supplying the posterior ethmoidal ear sinus and sphenoidal ear sinus. Next is long ciliary ganglionic branches, supply the iris of the cornea, which is sensory, and there is also sympathetic communication and which will lead to dilatation of the pupil known as mydriasis. Okay. And external nasal supply the skin of the ala, tip of the nose. Okay. External nasal you will see during the face resection. Okay. Supply the skin of the ala, tip of nose. And infratrochlear supplies both the eyelids, side of the nose and lacrimal sac. So these are the different branches of nasociliary and their supplying area. Next, so we have completed the ophthalmic division. Next, going to maxillary division. It is intermediate division of trigeminal nerve. It is also wholly sensory. Origin, it leaves the trigeminal ganglion between the ophthalmic and mandibular division as a flat plexiform band and passes slightly medial to the lateral wall of the cavernous sinus and gives a sensory branch to the dura mater within the cranium. Next, after that, then leaves the cranium through the foramen rotundum, which is located in the greater wing of the sphenoid. We have seen different foramens. Once outside the cranium, it crosses the uppermost part of the pterygopalatine fossa. As it crosses the fossa, it gives these branches: sphenopalatine ganglionic branches, posterior superior alveolar branches, infraorbital nerve, and zygomatic branch. Here, see, this is coming out through the foramen rotundum. Here, after that, it is giving those branches: infraorbital branch, posterior superior alveolar branches, okay, and zygomatic branches will be there. Next, on the posterior surface of the maxilla, entering the orbit through the inferior orbital fissure. You have seen in the orbit inferior orbital fissure, and within the orbit it occupies the infraorbital groove and becomes, see here, this is infraorbital nerve lying in the infraorbital groove, lying in the floor of the orbit. Okay, and then it is coming out through the infraorbital foramen below the orbit and supplying some areas of the face. So within the orbit occupies the infraorbital groove, becomes the infraorbital nerve which courses anteriorly into the infraorbital canal, and the maxillary division emerges on the anterior surface of face through the infraorbital foramen. Here it is coming out and on the anterior surface of face through the infraorbital foramen, and where it divides into its terminal branches, supplying the skin of the face, nose, lower eyelid and upper lip. See here, supplying the lower eyelid, nose, upper lip, okay, and some part of the face near the cheek region. Next. So these are the maxillary nerve and its branches. Within the cranial cavity, meningeal nerve supplying the dura mater. Ganglionic branches are supplying these areas. Orbital, palatine, nasal, pharyngeal, lacrimal branches are there. Zygomatic branch divides into again two branches, zygomatico-temporal, zygomatico-facial. Infraorbital branch, it is giving middle superior alveolar, anterior superior alveolar, and in the face it is giving these three branches, palpebral, nasal, superior labial, and another branch is posterior superior alveolar. So all these are branches of maxillary nerve. Okay, next. So meningeal nerve, also known as nervus meningeus or nervus medius, lies within the cranium, receives a ramus from internal carotid sympathetic plexus, accompanies the middle meningeal artery to supply the dura mater. Next we go to zygomatic nerve. Zygomatic nerve starts in the pterygopalatine fossa. Here is the pterygopalatine fossa. This one is zygomatic nerve, it is cut open actually. Zygomatic bone is removed here, so it will enter into the zygomatic bone. So starts in the pterygopalatine fossa, enters the orbit through the inferior orbital fissure, runs along the lateral wall to reach the zygomatic bone, and just before or after entering the zygomatic bone, it gives two terminal branches, zygomatico-temporal and zygomatico-facial. Zygomatico-temporal is a communicating secretomotor fibers given to the lacrimal gland through the lacrimal nerve, and zygomatico-facial, it is sensory supply to the skin over the zygomatic prominence and to the anterior part of the temple region. In this region, okay, zygomatico-temporal has been shown here, and here is the zygomatico-facial. These are two divisions of the zygomatic branch. Okay, next, see here, this is frontal, nasociliary, lacrimal, and they are different branches. Lacrimal is supplying lacrimal gland, and this one nasociliary is giving posterior and anterior ethmoidal branches, giving infratrochlear nerve, and this is dividing, frontal is dividing into supraorbital, supratrochlear nerves. Okay, and here it is attached with the ciliary ganglion, long ciliary nerve, short ciliary nerve, they are attached here with the nasociliary. Next, posterior superior alveoli. Here is the posterior superior alveoli, this is anterior superior alveoli. Posterior superior alveolar descends from the main trunk of maxillary division in the pterygopalatine fossa, and through this fossa it reaches the posterior surface of body of maxilla, and from here enters the maxilla through the pterygopalatine canal mainly. Next, and travel down the posterolateral wall of the maxillary sinus, provides sensory innervation to the mucous membrane of the sinus, maxillary sinus, okay, and continuing downward, it provides sensory innervation to the alveoli, periodontal ligaments, pulpal tissue of maxillary, third, second and first molar. Here, this is the, these molars are supplied by this posterior superior alveolar. and during a nerve block there is a greater risk of hematoma formation in this region. Okay, next is pterygopalatine ganglionic branch. This ganglion is also known as phenopalatine ganglion or ganglion of hay fever. Okay, um, the ganglionic branches of maxillary nerve suspend the ganglion in the pterygopalatine fossa. It is the largest peripheral parasympathetic ganglion, serves as relay station for secretomotor fibers to the lacrimal gland. Okay, and the topographically related to the maxillary nerve, but functionally it is related to the facial nerve through the greater petrosal branch. Okay, there are different communication with facial nerve. Next, these are the branches given in the pterygopalatine ganglion. See, here is the location of pterygopalatine ganglion. From here the branches, orbit, nasal branches are the superior, posterior nasal dividing into medial and lateral branch, nasopalatine branch, and in the palate, greater and lesser palatine branches, branch to the pharynx and lacrimal branch. So these are branches coming out from the pterygopalatine nerve. Next, okay, this is view from the orbit. Okay, this is the tendinous ring. From here, 4 rectus muscles are arising, and this is orbital periosteum. Okay, and this part is trochlea, and this is supraorbital foramen. Next, we go to the nasopalatine nerve. See, here is the anterior palatine branch of nasopalatine nerve passing through the incisive foramen of the palate. Here is the greater palatine nerve, lesser palatine nerves coming out from this greater palatine foramen and lesser palatine foramen. These are branches of nasopalatine. Next, so greater palatine nerve, okay, it emerges on the hard palate through the greater palatine foramen here in this region, usually located about 1 centimeter towards the palatal midline, just distal to the second molar. And this nerve courses anteriorly, supplying the sensory innervation to palatal soft tissue and bone as far as the first premolar, where it communicates with the terminal fibers of the nasopalatine and provides sensory innervation to some part of the soft palate. Next, lesser palatine emerges through lesser palatine foramen along with posterior palatine nerve, provides sensory innervation to the mucous membrane of the soft palate, and the posterior palatine nerve innervates the tonsillar region. So this is the supplying. Next is pharyngeal branch. Is small nerve, passes through the pharyngeal canal and distributed to the mucous membrane of nasal part of pharynx posterior to the auditory tube. Okay, next is infraorbital nerve. This is asked in your viva, where it comes from which branch. Infraorbital nerve enters the orbit through the infraorbital foramen, runs forward on the floor of the orbit, first in the infraorbital groove, then in the infraorbital canal, and here it gives these 2 branches, anterior superior alveolar and middle superior alveolar. The nerve terminates by emerging on the face through the infraorbital foramen, giving out its terminal branches, lower pampered bar, lateral nasal, superior labial. Okay, these are branches of infraorbital nerve. Next is middle superior alveolar branch of infraorbital, arises from infraorbital, provides sensory innervation to 2 maxillary premolars and perhaps to the mesiobuccal root of the first molar and periodontal teeth, buccal soft tissues, bone in the premolar region. And traditionally it has been stated that middle superior alveolar nerve is absent in about 30 to 54% individual, and in its absence the usual innervation are provided either by posterior superior alveolar or anterior superior alveolar, most frequently by the latter one, and anterior superior alveolar. Next, so middle superior and anterior superior alveolar nerves. Here anterior superior alveolar, and here is the middle superior alveolar. This one is posterior superior alveolar. This is the supply of the different teeth of upper jaw. Next, okay, so anterior superior alveoli, relatively larger branch given off from the infraorbital nerve, at approximately 6 to 10 millimeter before the lateral exits from the foramen. And it provides pulpal innervation to central lateral incisor, canine, periodontal tissues, buccal bone, mucous membrane of this disc here, anterior superior alveolar. Next, infraorbital emerges through the infraorbital foramen and divides into these three branches. Inferior palpebral supplying the lower orbit, supplying skin of lower eyelid. External nasal providing sensory innervation to skin of lateral part of nose. Superior labial supplying skin and mucous membrane of the upper lip here. Three branches of infraorbital after coming out from the foramen. Next we go to the mandibular division, which is the largest division of trigeminal nerve, mixed in nature. It has a large sensory root and a small motor root. Sensory root originates from trigeminal ganglia, whereas motor root originates in the pons and medulla oblongata. The two roots emerge from the cranium separately through the foramen oval, and the motor root lying medial to the sensory root. And they unite just outside the skull and forms the main trunk of the mandibular nerve. Next, so mandibular nerve, it is a mixed nerve, undivided trunk and divided trunk. It divides after coming out from the, after formation of this main trunk, it divides into these two divisions, anterior division and posterior division. Anterior division is small, posterior division is large. Okay. So these are the branches of posterior division: auriculotemporal, lingual, inferior alveolar, mylohyoid, and these are supplying from the main trunk. Nerve 2 tensor tympani, nerve 2 tensor valli palatini, medial pterygoid nerve. Okay. Next, so undivided nerve, from here these branches, nervus spinosus and nerve 2 medial pterygoid. From the after it divides into anterior division, posterior division. Anterior division supplying nerve to lateral pterygoid, nerve to masseter, nerve to temporalis, buccal nerve. And posterior division is giving these branches: auriculotemporal, lingual, mylohyoid, inferior alveolar, again dividing into incisive and mental nerves. Next, so peningeal branch from the undivided nerve enters skull through foramen spinosum along with middle meningeal artery, supply the dura mater of the middle cranial fossa, also known as nervus spinosus. Okay, you remember nervus spinosus entering into the skull through foramen spinosum. Okay, and branch of mandibular nerve. Next, nerve to medial pterygoid, motor nerve to medial pterygoid muscle. Here this one, medial pterygoid muscle. Next, okay, see here, this is the nervus spinosum, which is a recurrent branch entering, coming out from the foramen rotundum. After coming out, this spinosum, nervus spinosum, entering through foramen spinosum along with the middle meningeal artery. Okay, and here it is dividing into anterior, this is the main trunk. After that it is dividing into anterior division and posterior division. Okay, and giving different branches. Next, branches from anterior division: motor branch to muscles of mastication, buccal nerve, sensory innervation to mucous membrane of the cheek, buccal mucous membrane of the mandibular molars. Anterior division is smaller than the posterior division. Next is under the lateral pterygoid, it gives off some branches: deep temporal nerve to the temporal muscle, masseter nerve provides motor supply to masseter, lateral pterygoid motor supply to lateral pterygoid. These are the supplying muscles. Next, buccinator nerve, also known as long buccal nerve, usually passes beneath the two heads of lateral pterygoid, reaches the external surface of muscle, follows the inferior part of the temporal muscle, emerges under the anterior border of masseter, and at the level of occlusal plane of mandibular third and second molar. Okay. Next, it crosses in front of the ramus, enters the cheek through the buccinator muscle, provides sensory innervation to these areas. Skin over anterior part of buccinator, buccal, gingival, mandibular molars, and mucobuccal fold in that region. And the buccal nerve does not innervate the buccinator muscle, the facial nerve does. Buccinator muscle is one of muscles of facial expression, so it will be innervated by the facial nerve. Next, posterior division, larger division, mainly sensory, divides into auriculotemporal, lingual and inferior alveolar nerve. Inferior alveolar again divided, supplying the mylohyoid and anterior digastric. Next, okay, so these branches are important. Okay. Next, जाओ पढ़े चले जाओ. Next, एकदम लास्ट स्लाइडे जाओ, लास्टे दो तीनटा आगे पढ़े जाओ. नेक्स्ट 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 ओके, inferior alveolar. Next, okay, see here the incisive nerve supplying the teeth of the lower jaw, and this is mental nerve coming out through the mental foramen of the mandible. Next, mylohyoid nerve supplying the mylohyoid muscle in the floor of the mouth. Next, mental nerve has been shown, and this is mylohyoid nerve, mental nerve branch from this mylohyoid nerve. Next, this ganglion, ciliary ganglion, it is connected to the nasociliary nerve by ganglionic branches in the orbit, and it is sensory for the orbit. Next, pterygopalatine ganglion connected to the maxillary nerve in the infratemporal fossa, sensory to the orbital septum, orbicularis and nasal cavity, maxillary sinus, palate and nasopharynx. Okay, so this is supply of the pterygopalatine ganglion. Next, otic ganglion lies below the trunk of mandibular nerve and tensor valley palatini. Nerve to the medial pterygoid passes through it but does not synapse in this ganglion. Okay, otic ganglion, this one. Next is submandibular ganglion. It is related to lingual nerve. See, this is lingual nerve. Here is a submandibular ganglion. It is related to lingual nerve, rests on the hypoglossal muscle, one muscle of tongue, supplies the posterior ganglionic parasympathetic secretomotor fibers to the submandibular and sublingual glands. Okay. Next, so these four ganglions are important. These four ganglions comes in your theory. Okay, four parasympathetic ganglion, ciliary, otic, pterygopalatine, okay, and submandibular ganglions. Very, very important, very frequently given in your theory, these four ganglions. Next, we go to the applied aspect, trigeminal neuralgia, pain at its sensory region of sensory supply, also known as tic doulorex. Okay, this name is also given. Trigeminal neuralgia and herpes zoster ophthalmicus. Okay, herpes zoster virus is remnant in the trigeminal ganglion, and when they are become active, blister formation occurs at near the sensory innervation of the trigeminal nerve. And Wallenberg syndrome, another clinical aspect. Next, so trigeminal neuralgia, also known as Fothergill's disease or tic douloreus, painful jerking is there, defined as sudden, usually unilateral, severe, brief stabbing, lacinating or recurring pain in the distribution of one or more branches of trigeminal nerve, and it generally affects 50 years onward, and female dominance is there. Okay. Next, so it is usually idiopathic, probably etiologic factors are these intracranial tumors or different infections. Okay. Next, so these are the other regions: petrous ridge compression, intracranial vascular abnormalities, post-therapy neuralgia, demyelinating condition, multiple sclerosis. Okay, sclerosis. Next, so this is ganglion is involved, and there will be pain in different divisions, region of these three divisions. Next, okay, next. So this region is 4% it is ophthalmic division is involved. In 35% cases, maxillary, and 30% cases, mandibular division is involved. Next, sudden unilateral intermittent paroxysmal sharp shooting pain, okay, lacinating shock like pain elicited by slight touch. This is the nature of the pain in trigeminal neuralgia. Next, okay, something trigger points are there. Next, so trigger zone most commonly are located on the cheek, lip, nose and buccal mucosa. These points are the trigger zones. Next, and provocated by this stimulus, chewing, speaking, brushing, shaving, washing of face, like this. Next, okay, so early, so there will be gradual symptoms increases, okay, up. Next, so you can diagnose from the history, and treatment is carbamazepine, okay. Next, so these are the other surgical treatments: peripheral injections, peripheral neurectomy, chirotherapy, peripheral radiofrequency ablation, and neurolysis, and Gasseri and ganglion procedures. So these are the surgical treatments for this. Next, okay, that's all. So trigeminal neuralgia is main clinical aspects, okay. Okay, that's all. So you prepare those 3 divisions. They are different branches, mainly those sensory supply over the face that comes in your theory. 4 ganglions, parasympathetic ganglions, and this trigeminal neuralgia. Okay, all this comes in your theory.